Hey hi, just some quick heads ups for this video. We've got some footage from fighting games, a bit of Doom, Quake, and Cyberpunk 2077. There's also some text on screen about the time I had in 2023 and 2024 with hospital stuff. Nothing graphic and no images, I just know some people don't like that. The audio might vary in a few places. I've been recording this across a few different places. And also there's a little bit of risky, not safe for work art, which has been censored, but you know, your mileage may vary. We also mentioned 9/11 briefly in this video because, well, I learned something about one of my favorite songs and 9/11. Nothing morose, just a weird coincidence. The video does start with Hulk Hogan getting kicked in the head though, so if that sounds pretty cool to you, then hey, feel free to stick around, and remember babe, if you keep it cool, you're more than welcome to stick around Cloud Station 9.
For some reason, you internet geeks want to talk to the genetic freak.
Konnichiwa, all you watching NTV.
Hole in one.
It's funny because it's what he deserves. Oh, hi by the way, my name's K.Galaxia and welcome to 2026. She says, hopefully still somewhat near the societal norm to say that. I'm hoping this video is out like mid-January. Let's find out together. Hey hi, it's me, K.Galaxia of the far-flung future year 2026 here, coming to you live from the editing desk. And I have no idea what this silly little girl was thinking. For context, I was recording this video in New Year's Eve on 2025, and then the start of the year I've been looking after Toki, and you know, it's all been good, it's all been fine, but like, girl, you haven't slept properly in like a whole month. You've been looking after Toki, he's 17 years old, he loves to meow. We have so much footage of this on Twitch. But like, it's okay, because we're on Tuesday at the moment. Midway through February? Mid-January? Bitch, what were you thinking? However, it's very nearly 8 p.m, so I think I'm just gonna close up for the evening, and... But don't pay attention to the... You're not allowed to see, though. Pay attention to the butt. Man, 2025 was a year, right? I mean, I didn't nearly die that year, so you know what? Marked improvement over 2023 and especially 2024. But otherwise, what a year. But I did play some cool games, I gotta give it that. A lot of games I didn't really talk about all that much on this channel. I played Parking Garage Rally Circuit, which fucks. I played Space Marine 2, which I enjoyed a lot more than I expected to. Also, Metro Gravity, which I did mention, and look, I like the game beyond Stephanie's fat ass, okay? And also, Daikatana was certainly a game I played in 2025, and I will actually say it's one of my favorite games I played that year because well, on one hand, it's interesting to think about. Like, there's so much of that game that really works. Like, why is the gameplay so smooth? I mean, of course, the other reason why the game is so interesting is the entire why the hell did you do this? You know, like the first episode being one of the greatest roadblocks I have ever seen in a first-person shooter in terms of just how... I mean, that's the only way I know how to describe it. Literally showing it you. I'm so sorry, babe. Oh, and also the other thing which I find continuously interesting is the fact that your game features several Japanese people, and you thought to yourself the best person to play a bunch of them was an old white guy. Legacy my sizable pert ass, like, stop doing that! But also, admittedly, like a complete freak, I really enjoyed my time with that game. But I think talking about the context for the enjoyment is very, very important. I did a lot of streams for trans charities last year, and it's something I intend to continue in 2026. But for my second year affiliate stream, Trans State, we raised a shitload of money. I shaved off my meat self's beard in a stroke of, God, that feels good in the gender. But on top of that, I also became contractually obliged to play Daikatana on stream. But also, I said I would do an AMA if we hit a certain goal, and, well, here we are doing an AMA. So I put the questions out to you lovely lot, and you gave me a bunch of questions that my ass can cash. Hilariously, one of them was also about my ass, you absolute scoundrels. So, let's cue your A's. What? No, I mean, A your Q's. I'm the A girl. I'm the A girl. Also, hey, hi, me, Editor K. Quick note, Google Forms doesn't let me know who sent me these, so if it's your question, please let me know in the comments down below. So, starting off with, what inspired you to pursue your passion? To be honest, it's a weird path because I was in education for this during a weird time. I started my education in media in 2008. I took a BTEC National Diploma in Media after kind of discovering I really like coursework and sketchbooking, and hate exams that can play a horrific power on a good chunk of your future. Especially when one of those exams is in a very subjective field, with a teacher who forces you into an artistic medium you hate, because the artistic medium you love isn't a valid art form. Still got a passing grade though, babe. At this point in my life though, I really wanted to get into games design. In fact, the media course I was on said it was games design and media. It was actually just media with 3 extra classes for games design that got shit canned relatively quickly, so I just ended up learning bits of concept art and games marketing on the side. The latter, nobody really had any experience with, so it was very blind leading the blind. The course helped me a lot though with learning how to write about video games and how they make me feel and the like. And also studying media taught me how to conduct interviews, it taught me media law, video editing, audio processing, shooting, all the stuff I really enjoy doing now. Also, I was in college from 2008 to 2010, and during that time we did see a rise in online video from consumer creators. It was mostly from people who had disposable income, which I didn't have. I spent a chunk of that instead going to download to watch FAVE no more. Or it was from people who were going into university, which I was hoping to be doing. And also around this time, I saw game outlets start moving towards video, and I kind of thought to myself, a potential outlet for me to get into games design. But, I mean, also at this time, I was just falling in love with filming things, and especially editing. Yeah, you know she's that freak who loves piecing it all together. Give me an in and out point, babe. I fucking dare you. Imagine trying to talk dirty as an editor. Overwrite me, babe. Fucking hell. Anyways, 2010 rolls around and I'm applying to unis for games design, as recommended by one of my head tutors at the time. And, frankly, it was a fucking massacre. See, 2010 was a weird time to get into these courses, because everybody had a very nebulous idea on what game design would be for a games course, because, let's be real, it's a very nebulous term. Some people told you to focus on the fundamentals of design, real sketchbooking mechanical ideas together and working from tabletop systems. Some others told you it's an ideas game, show that you got that spark in you. And other people were like, it's all about the art, babe, you gotta be able to draw. And the answer is, the unis I applied for were all looking for traditional artists. They didn't care if you had ideas or had any idea of mechanical working. And like, look, I get that you gotta be able to communicate those ideas in a meaningful way that can potentially transcend language, but every uni I went to was just like, oh yeah, you can't draw for shit, mate. So, that completely killed my passion to do anything games design orientated. Yay! But I had applied for a visual effects and motion graphics course at a university in Cardiff. See, a lot of straight media courses around that time when I was applying for university were kind of teaching the things I had already learned on my BTEC National Diploma. Like, I remember one of them being like, hey, if you join our university, then you're going to become a Final Cut Pro 7 101 accredited professional. And, I already was a Final Cut Pro 7 accredited professional at the 101 level. I mean, like, that means nothing nowadays, but I'm actually a certified professional video editor. I have a piece of paper saying that I am. I don't know where it is, but I do have one. So I went into visual effects and motion graphics. I learned a lot of things. I made some enemies. And I ended up becoming a big fan of transitions, title sequences, and arcade game attract modes. I was doing all of this during a weird time for learning media as well, because Adobe was actually more affordable at that time. and also a hell of a lot easier to pipe.
Find copies of the Adobe Master Collection CS5 just lying around in the floor with their serial numbers next to them. How very convenient.
So yeah, I would say that doing video editing and visual effects and motion graphics and that kind of stuff at a higher education level isn't exactly the most necessary thing in the world. You don't need a certificate to prove that you can do that kind of thing. But at the same time, I did love my time at university, despite some people. I had a weird time at uni. But during uni, I got really into making online video, and I got found through a spark of luck at a convention I went to, and then entered the games industry full-time in 2017, which is a sort of transition I can best describe as
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
But also, despite the crumbling inferno around me, I'm here making videos about what I want to make when I can, whilst also making videos for clients and workplaces and the like, whenever they want to hire me, just saying showreel available on request, wink wonk. But I mean, yeah, honestly, I'm happy doing what I'm doing now. Like, sure, on one hand, it's terrifying because the games industry is on a slow mammoth collapse, let's be real. But I also get to make trailers for some cool games, and make silly videos about games people might not have heard about, or games they probably heard about that one time and were like, oh yeah, that was a game. Or in some cases, they're very well loved games. Like, I didn't expect Renegade to get the reception it got, but it's really nice to see the love for it and share that love around. I'm happy I'm here doing something like this, as opposed to like making adverts for clothes washing tablets. Okay, weird tangent, I know, but hear me out. I'm currently watching through Farscape on Amazon, and advertising on Amazon can't determine whether I am male or female, so offers me both ends of a clothing washing advert spectrum, because it feels like those are the ads they have. So I get like the full spectrum of adverts, so I get stuff like, you're a mum, isn't it so funny when kids come back really dirty, but don't worry, we got the perfect washing tablet for you. To something like, you're a bloke and you don't care, right? Just get all your washing, slap it on in there, and then slap in a big one. Way footy. And that's just like, it feels weirdly euphoric. Sorry, a weird tangent to completely end this question on, but thank you so much for the question. What was your first playthrough in Cyberpunk 2077? So my first character before 2.0 was a Nomad Netrunner, and I can't remember what she specialized in, but I think it was pistols? I do not remember much from the pre-2.0 days, so I apologize on that front, but what I do remember is that I got the Nomad ending with her. I feel like this is maybe a boring answer though, so I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about the rest of my characters and my OCs, because you're here now and you can never leave. So buckle the fuck in, I'm introducing you to my other Vs. My second V was a street kid who specialized in rapid-fire assault rifles and katanas, and she fucking ruled. I loved playing as her. I believe I got the Night City Legend ending with her after getting the secret ending as well. Please, darlings, no spoilers. And then for a while I started playing a Corpo Punch Girl, and oh, look, I adore her, okay? She's so good at punching and thwacking and shotguns, and she's also really fucking cute. I feel like I tapped into my inner Amy Rose in making an absolute sweetheart who hates corporations and wields a big hammer. I haven't actually finished the game as her because I can't bear putting her through the pain and heartache of the ending. She's way too lovely. Oh, and also I've completely trivialized all the combat in the game because she's way too fucking powerful. So I know I've returned to my Nomad Netrunner route, but I'm also using katanas and the like because they're really fun post 2.0. I'm also playing on hard because I feel like the combat is a little more challenging, and I've just reached Act 2 with her, and I adore the character I've made. I really like the look I've given her. Honestly, every V I end up playing as ends up as like a fun little fashion exercise, and I love giving them cute looks. But those are my girls, and one day, maybe actual flesh me will be as cool as them. Also, they all romance Judy, and no, I do not need to explain myself to you. Look, maybe in another life I would romance River if River was actually written well and his romance storyline didn't feel bad, because I really like River as a character, and also Robbie Damon's voice is really nice, and let's just say I saw a picture of Robbie Damon hiking one time, and I got really into the prospect of hiking. But outside of being tastefully horny towards incredibly hot people, thank you for your question. How did you and SETTI meet? and start collaborating on Flatbed Fridays. Long ago, I was minding my own business, standing outside a deserted mall on a snowy day, as one does, when suddenly I was hit by a big beam and I went flying up into it into a flying saucer. It was there where I made first contact with some aliens who were like, and I was like, don't probe my butt. So instead, we made some tasteful, not safe for work art. Then they placed me inside a cell because the research didn't actually garner anything useful. They just learned I'm a degenerate. It was then when I met SETTI, who I told about a cool golden disc. So she broke out with me, and then we went on wild adventures. Or alternatively, I met Steph or SETTI years ago at a Comic-Con. We were both cosplaying Valve characters, and I made a really cool, lovely friend that day. We stayed in touch, then kind of lost contact for a little bit, but then re-entered each other's orbits, and she's been my bestie ever since. In regards to Flatbed Friday, I asked if they wanted to join me on a Euro Truck 2 stream because I was terrified that me by myself would be incredibly boring because I'd just be pure focusing on driving as opposed to, you know, being entertaining. And we kind of just carried that on because I love having that opportunity to hang out with them for a little bit of time. Fast forward a few years, and here we are, still being silly, still driving a truck, and still being unbearably fruity. It's also still my favorite stream that I do, so long may we be tastefully honking at the Dom Depot. Look, this bitch just loves to be called a good girl. Next up, favorite Sonic game. Okay, so this is very easy for me. It's Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube. I kind of played some Sonic beforehand, but the first real Sonic game I owned was SA2B, and it was a very real, the stars have aligned above this city girl, and shit's about to get real formative in this bitch. We need to go back in time, before the release of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle to, I shit you not, 9/11. Linkin Park's single, In the End, comes out. Seriously, it came out on 9/11, I'm not joking. First, she hears the song, and then she sees the video. Little Kaye sees Chester Bennington on a rainy rooftop singing his heart out, and Mike Shinoda in, I don't know, fucking DS9's holodeck or something. And she is irreparably changed. Even if she doesn't know it yet, but also, like, not like that. Girl, you were bad at picking up what your brain was putting down. A year and a bit passes, because I didn't have the money to play SA2B on release, and my friend comes over and brings Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube, because we were the silly little freaks who bought GameCubes. It's at this point that I am introduced to Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. Lil Kaye is fucking enamored. He's so cool. He's got rocket shoes, he's got a cool color scheme, he's got flicky hair, and he's got angst. Honestly, Shadow hit me. Just like the
big truck in City Escape.
In terms of other favorite Sonic games, I really like Mania, and I really like Rush, and I have a weird soft spot for Heroes. That game was actually just pretty fun. Team Rose were an absolute laugh. Oh, and also, I kind of have a soft spot for Sonic Riders. I just really like the character designs in that game, and also I have a real soft spot for hoverboards. I haven't played a good majority of Sonic games though, and I do want to play more of them. I mean, for God's sakes, I used to be an employee of Sega. I have a bunch of them. I should maybe give them a go. So if anyone has any recommendations, please let me know.
I see you don't have a lifeguard here at your beach.
I'm not at the beach, this is a bathtub.
What's a video essay you would love to make but can't get to, either by how much time it would take, or it being too vague, etc, etc. Oh, you know who you are who wrote this. So there's been a few actually. I wanted to make one about Doom. I feel like Doom as a series has had its feet firmly planted in punk mentality, what with the main villains being the UAC in nigh on all of them, and Hell basically being a symptom of them all the way up until Eternal. And then I wanted to check out the Dark Ages to see if that punk mentality was still there, or if it was fully gone, like it did feel like it was in Eternal. Because I really, really did not like Eternal's the bad guy is now just Hell and the UAC is nothing approach. Yes, I know there's codex entries, and no, I don't think you need to be reading them. Do you really think Doom is a game about the text you place on the side? No. I wanted to punch the ever-loving shit out of Samuel Hayden after the end of Doom 2016, and the Ancient Gods definitely does not count. There's another video I'm also currently planning out, which is about how important single-player elements of fighting games are to me, due to my childhood and also more recent years as well. in which I also wanted to talk about the importance of local scenes and stuff like that because it's very important to me. Honestly, the single player stuff was going to be the planned bulk of it, but there's also a little voice in the back of my head that's like, nobody wants to hear you talk about that kind of thing, shut up. So if that is something you would like to actually watch and listen to, then please let me know in the comments, mainly because I find the best way to kill my brain demons is with cold hard pragmatism. I'm also kind of planning on making one on the WWE 2K games, namely the My Rise mode, because they make me overthink things, and I feel like some of my videos are at my best when I'm overthinking. I'm currently going through 2K25's My Rise mode as like a version of me, and also I had to make a guy, and the only man that came to my head was Captain Pronan, which I don't know why, but my mind can only think as cool women to wrestle as, and not dudes. I cannot imagine why. Do not at me about this. I think my white whale of a video though is I would love to make a video to get people to check out Babylon 5. Maybe through the lens of comparing it to Mass Effect, but the truth is, I just don't know how I would make that video in a way that would make that video mine. Like, that's the usual blocker for me, right? I don't think I can make a video that's both entertaining and intrinsically me without it kind of falling short in my eyes. Plus also, Mass Effect is really fucking long, and after I replayed the trilogy, I kind of rediscovered that I really fucking love Mass Effect 1, but I don't love Mass Effect 2 as much as I did back in the day, and Mass Effect 3 is a game. I can give it that much. I mean, sure, I can make a video about how much I love B5 and how much I've noticed it play an impact on a lot of media in my life that I consider to be formative, hitting people with the, hey, if you like X, you'll love Babylon 5. I could also hit people with the classic, man, I sure do love the heavily implied gays, and also the fact that homosexuality wasn't treated like a joke in a show from
1994.
The fact that most fight scenes feature that one guy doing a spin kick, it's normally linear and it's normally sick as fuck. Oh, and also talk about how Prime Sheridan could absolutely get it and how I would absolutely allow Lita Alexander to completely fucking destroy me. And yeah, I think everyone would expect me to be quite horny on main about it sometimes. I just miss when sci-fi was a little hornier on main. But like, going back to the topic on hand, I can't think of an angle for me to talk about B5 that hasn't been covered by other very well written and spoken sci-fi lovers and coverers that I could feasibly do from my own experience. But also at the same time, even if I tried to do that, and in the time it would take for me to produce it, I think people with healthy watching habits could easily get through about 2.5 series of Babylon 5 before my video would even come out. At which point I would rather they just kept watching it and we just had a lovely conversation about it. Like, it's real, if you've watched 2.5 series of Babylon 5 by the time my video comes out, or you've fallen off the wagon because you didn't care that much for it, that video's not really going to be one for you, and I would like people to watch what I make. If I ever did approach this kind of thing, I guess the main way I would love to do it is potentially as a book club. But the thing about book clubs is, Jesus Christ, that can be a lot of pressure sometimes. It's basically homework. And per episode reviews is not something I think I could pull off. Like, I'm no Alison Pragler, which, by the way, you should check out Baywatching and Baywatching Nights. It is such a great series and a cool insight into Baywatch. Like, it's one of my go-to comfort watches. That's the thing that usually stops me though. It's, can I make this a video that's actually worth making and one that I would make? That I can actually add personal insights that are worthwhile to, whilst not sounding like I'm reading Wikipedia like I'm some kind of plagiarizing pyramid, or just reading the blurb and reviews on the back of the box at people. Also, I noticed this when I was working on Renegade, but I kind of feel like sometimes when I spend longer on a project, I kind of really begin to start hating it, and by extension, I start hating myself more and more. I mean, Renegade was a special case. I'd worked on that video for like 3 months because I was between several big projects and I was really burning myself out mentally. But it would get to the point that I'd hear my voice back sometimes and just groan and feel kind of bad in a really gross, nitpicky way. Like, the kind of thing I would never want anyone to do to themselves about, but I will do to me because it's easy enough to do that. And then I'll also get to points where I wonder what I'm even trying to convey, and I feel like I lose the plot. And that is something I want to work on myself with regards to this year. Like, that is not a video production issue, that is a me issue. That is something I need to work on this year, and I need to be more patient with myself, and also learn to cut myself some fucking slack. Anyways, apologies for that being very open. But hilariously, there is actually another very famous five I would like to cover. Not the book Famous Five, I've not read any of them. It kind of smacks of Seaside Tory to me. But I would love to cover the Capcom 5. That feels a little more my speed. Maybe we'll get there one day. Okay, Kay, it's time for another question. This one's about your ass. How thick is the booty on a scale of 1 to 10? Oh, you absolute scoundrel. Okay, so before I answer this, can I please just tell the funny story of the frankly lovely behind I have? I'd commissioned SETTI for the VTube rig because I saw they were making SETTI, and there was a big part of me that was like, hey, this would be really nice to join in on, because maybe it'd make my life easier, and I get to commission the bestie as well, so let's go. And then, well, something gender, something water slides. Whee! Yippee! Anyways, I get the initial designs back, and hey, completely unsurprisingly, they fucking nailed it. So they begin work on the actual model, and I fall in love with that as well. And then SETTI hit me with the, I gave them a lot of ass, to which the only real response is, yes you did. Which naturally was followed by swift handshakes, knowing nods, a slap on the ass, and an urge to see this continue. This happens to the point that these layers on 1A's construct are literally called 2-ass. So if people are wondering, is she aware? Yes, I'm very aware that if 1A walks too close to a table, she's knocking a cup off. Maybe in a she wants your attention, tastefully horny kind of way. But also, most likely it's just my dyspraxia. But to better answer your question, if you really need something on the numerical scale, you could ping a penny off this son of a bitch, and somewhere, a Nazi would die from a ricocheting penny. So, while some people might be like, Nazi killing, 10 out of 10, I'm personally gonna have to go with giving it a 7 out of 10, because I need you to know that this, baby, this is an ass for the freaks. Thank you for your question. What's your favorite weapon or type of weapon in a game? Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good one. So it normally varies on the game that I'm playing, the toolset given to me, and just how they make that weapon feel. Like, I feel like different games make different weapons feel phenomenally powerful, or just as reliable workhorses. It's a difficult balance to achieve. I do think some games try to cater too much and sacrifice overall weapon feel, namely the Borderlands series, but even then that game has got some absolute shiners. Honestly, it's all down to how a game pulls off its arsenal, but I think the best easy way I can describe my taste is, I'm a switch. I mean, I'm a variety weapon user of certain extremes. Like, I fucking adore big rapport, big caliber devastation weapons. Stuff like incomprehensibly big sniper rifles, heavy machine guns, shotguns that not only blast, but those bitches clunk. I also love revolvers that do a big kapow. To just give some straight up weapons, Unreal Tournament's flat cannon is ingrained in my head alongside Quake 2's railgun. I think you're catching my drift. But I'm also gonna slap in Quake 2's grenade launcher because I like explosives with an arc, and also, oh my god, that clunky sound, tickles my brain real good. Also, speaking of explosives, props to Blood, because I mean, like, how can you not love shit like that? But also, I just kind of love, like, very reliable weapons. Like, it doesn't always have to be, witness the mass of my ass and the power of my ordnance, you fucking peasant. Like, I like weapons that are just, come hell or high water, this baby'll get me through. Stuff like semi-auto rifles, reliable pistols, submachine guns, throwing knives, if we're talking cyberpunk. It's actually quite hard to describe this kind of thing because lots of different games have very different workhorse weapons, but I hope the gameplay I'm putting on screen is giving you a vibe. It's difficult to try and talk about. There are, however, 2 secret categories. First is strap it on a mech. Everyone knows you put any weapon on a several story high artillery platform, that shit is gonna slap. And the final category is me, by which I mean my fists, my legs. I am a physical weapon. Don't laugh. I know some of you might be from UK. I'm not calling myself... you know what I mean. If I can in some games, if the fighting is good, I will try and go hand to hand wherever I can. I played through all of Evil West in 2025 and it was one of my favorite games of the year. And the other game I also really recommend for this is playing Doom with Skelegant's Private Stone mod. There'll be a link in the description for it, which turns Doomguy into a massive British lady who punches really fucking hard. And also sometimes she winks at the camera and it makes me feel things. And I just want to know, is she single? Because I feel like my posture could do with being fixed. And I think she might be the lass for it. That, or she'll just break me more, and you know there are some risks that people are willing to take. Also, apologies for slapping this in here, but it's also part of the multi-piece puzzle as to why I don't like Skyrim all that much. I mean, no hand-to-hand tree Todd? Seriously? There are several other reasons I don't like Skyrim. I don't really want to make a video on that ever though. But, thank you for your question. Who are your top 3 hottest low poly models, preferably from older games? I will do my best, but I will be honest, there's going to be some recency bias due to stuff I've been playing lately, and also my kind of dislike for the term hot, but I will keep these 2 older games as best I can for you. So first up is Sheena from Bloody Roar 2. I've been playing a lot of BR2 lately because I wanted to go back through the series and just... man, she's the fucking coolest. I love her outfits, especially her first and third outfit. I feel like they would maybe make fun 1A looks, but my fave is always going to be her second costume in Primal Fury, but god, I love her. Almost like fighters who use wrestling movesets are just the one to me. Her suplexes are just a thing of beauty. Next up is my boy Hechiro Mitsurugi from Soul Edge. I don't think we're at his peak for looks yet. That would be Costume 2 in Soulcalibur 2, and his luck in Soulcalibur 5. Soulcalibur 5 is not a very good game, but... oh boy. Oh, he's... But I do have to give some love for my boy from his first appearance, because he was also one of my first, hey, wow, this guy's really neat, and he looks really cool, and I really like his character, and maybe a secret 4th thing that I am not yet equipped to deal with. But I do love him. And, Tacky, too. And lastly, it's a tie-up between my girls Jill from Resident Evil, Regina from Dino Crisis, and Hannah from Fear Effect. Someone out there decided that these girls are going to be facing the horrors, and they're going to be cute as heck while doing it, so, I'm very, very down for that. To quickly throw some others in here, Stephanie Metro Gravity, because, oh, gosh dang, and also Sybil Pseudo Regalia for modern releases. Also characters from Atlas. I love the body diversity in that game as well. Gosh dang, it feels weirdly fulfilling to be playing a short stack raccoon with a fat ass and nice,
Look out, Gordon! Hotching boobs up ahead!
There's also this cute lady I got as a mod for Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and she is fucking styling, and if I can be honest for a moment, I think we could be really cool friends and cause a lot of mayhem together. I think 2 big lasses causing mayhem, I think that could be pretty sweet. Going back to older games, I really like Aya Brea in the first Parasite Eve. She's like if Cloud figured it out in like an alternate universe. And one final one I'm happy to call hot, even though I don't really like the term, is Blurred Aim from Street Fighter EX and later EX games, because holy moly. Damn girl, you want to break me across that back or something? Okay, I'm splitting this question into 2 and combining the latter half of this question with another one sent in. So let's get started. What is your favorite Soulcalibur? Okay, so there's something I genuinely love about every Soulcalibur I've played, which is every numbered title. And yeah, that includes 4 and 5. The reasons are not that substantial, but there's at least something. But in terms of my favorite Soulcaliburs, it's 2 and 6. Like, I played Edge and Caliber 1 on my brother's friends' machines, and I enjoyed them for the most part. and I'm thinking of revisiting them this year, but 2 was the first one I'd properly played and owned, and I just fell in love with the roster. Like, I know I mention Cassandra all the time, and like Keelik and Nightmare as well, but I loved those characters, and then I moved into basically loving the whole roster, and I was gutted as hell that I only owned a GameCube, because I saw stuff for Soulcalibur 3, and I really wanted to experience the stories and see, like, how did we get here? How did Siegfried become free of Nightmare and Soul Edge? And also, who's this girl with the big ring blade? Cause she looks fucking sick as hell. But like, the major thing that got me with Soulcalibur 2 was Weapon Master. It's something that I'm planning on including in a video later this year, so I don't want to go too deep, but fucking hell, Weapon Master was the one. Eventually, I got back into Soulcalibur when I had a 360, when I picked up Soulcalibur Yoda and Soulcalibur 5, which, yeah, okay, those games were not good, but it was my first experience with Creator Soul, which I love, and also Critical Finishes, and also, I just really think that game had some cool costumes. Like, I love Cassandra's look in Soulcalibur 4. I didn't care much for 5 in the slightest, but I like some of the characters, like Zwei, and I liked Viola a lot. And I also liked Natsu's design. I just didn't like the characters. Like, I fucking hated Zeba. Where's Keelik? But I wish I had the pieces of these characters for character customization. Please give me the crop leg bodysuit. It would be perfect for 1A. But then I ended up playing 6, and holy shit, I fell in love again. We had a guest character who made sense. We had a roster filled with characters that I love, and a cool divergent timeline plot by like going back to the first Soulcalibur. And also the Weapon Master style mode with Libra of Soul and Soul Chronicles for the main cast. Just super, really good shit. I love the fact that they really honed in on single player stuff for it. I really hope we get a new Soulcalibur because I'm interested to see where this divergent timeline goes. And now for part 2 of this question. Do you play any fighting games? And what's your favourite fighting game? So, I play a fair few fighting games. I don't get as into the weeds with them as a lot of people do, as they're primarily my, I want to play something quick that'll take my mind off things kind of game. Or alternatively, they're just games I like playing because, well, call me basic bitch, but I just like playing them, especially when they have like good single player offerings, which will probably make next to no sense when I talk about some of my favorites. Like, I got into fighting games hilariously with a random disc pack I picked up from a supermarket one time, which had Samurai Showdown 2 and Fatal Fury 3, and I fucking loved playing these games. Like, Sam Show was awesome. Haomaru is a character I adore. Might explain why I love Costume 2 Mitsurugi so much. And also Blue Mary in Fatal Fury 3 was like, I kind of saw her and I was like, holy shit, she's cool as hell. Also, it was the first time I'd played a video game where I was like, are those Thangs allowed to Thang? It was, yeah, it was kind of a weird sexual awakening. Woman hot, and also woman kicking my ass? Oh. But yeah, I got back into fighting games with Soulcalibur 2, and after getting into that one, I was like, I should try more fighting games. So I tried Virtua Fighter, absolutely adored it. I played a bunch of Capcom games, loved those too. Guilty Gear X2, hot fucking damn, I still need to play Strive. I feel very, very normal about Unica, okay? Anyways, moving away before I fall into the weeds on Guilty Gear. I got Capcom vs SNK 2, and once again, I fell in love. Like, the production of that game in terms of its UI was one of the things that really made me want to go into motion graphics. But also, it was just such a neat collection of characters from Capcom that I kind of recognized from my brothers playing Street Fighter 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom back in the day. But also, the SNK cast. Holy shit. This was my first time seeing characters like Iori, Rugal, Yuri, Hyo, King, Mature, Vice, so I was like, I need to see more of these guys. It took me until the Xbox 360, but I played King of Fighters on that and just... Oh. Like, I'm saying this as someone who loves Street Fighter and other fighting games, but King of Fighters was the series that really spoke to me in terms of its character designs. Like, When I made Fighting 1A, I kind of wanted to evoke a little more from SNK than I would from Capcom. Like, I was utterly dog shit at King of Fighters, but these were just some cool as shit designs. Like, I fucking love the characters I mentioned before, but also like Leona, Blue Mary, Rock, Terry, Shermie. These characters just spoke to me more than Street Fighter's roster ever did. Like, I love Ryu, don't get me wrong, but you show young, edgy Kay a character like Orochi Iori or Orochi Leona, and you have me hooked. Hang on, you mean to tell me that the girl with the cute crop top and the big blue hair can turn evil and get big red hair? I am sitting so politely and attentively right now. As for a favorite fighting game though, it's always going to be Soulcalibur 2. But I have a big heart. I love a lot of fighting games. You show me one and I will more than happily give you the time. So, to those of you who sent these questions in, I say thank you for letting me have a ramble with such lovely and good questions.
You tried your best, I guess.
How did your egg crack? Okay, this is a real... I don't think I can identify the point, but I can definitely identify a major turning point. So this is a few years back, but the group I primarily play D&D with were running a fun Christmas one-shot. The premise was, you're part of a circus troupe, so make a character who can utilize their abilities for combat, but is primarily a performer. Someone who's here to entertain, and make sure people are having fun. And weirdly I struggled big time with that. Most of the characters I had played by this point were characters who, let's just say a lot of my characters had some shit going on. So I wanted to make a character who would just be straight up fun. But I was fucking struggling. I eventually came to the conclusion of, well, I want to play as a rogue, so let's try and make a knife juggler. And well, the art I was initially running with for the token to help inspire me, in terms of like making a background and giving a name and all that kind of stuff, was, well, if you know Ravnica and you know Magic the Gathering, you know who this character is. I love them, but they were the wrong vibe. So I got into searching and I found this art from Gwent, and like, I love her. So I had art and everything came with that. She got a name, Sept Harwood, 7th child of an idiot noble whose name kinda comes from a Seinfeld joke.
What is that, sign language?
7.
7 Costanza. You're serious?
Yeah. It's a beautiful name for a boy or a girl, especially a girl or a boy.
She's got a backstory, I went hard on making her, and she was only supposed to be like a one-shot character. I did not need to go as deep as I did. I hadn't at all considered how I would actually play her from like a personality standpoint, and right now it is the evening of the game and I'm being asked to introduce her. So I had to give her a personality and all of that kind of stuff on the spot, and she just kinda ended up being me, uninhibited. She was very, very self-insert, but I dialed up the she wants to have fun aspect by like 100%. And I fucking loved playing as her and embodying her. We get to the end of a session, everything's cool and lovely, and like, she is not leaving my head. I'm making pit crews, I'm considering short stories for her, I'm building her out, and in doing so, I'm giving her more of me. And in return, I'm learning more of me. The pit crews start bleeding over. I'm not making Sept, I'm making, wouldn't it be funny if I was a girl? And then it stopped feeling funny and started feeling pretty fucking cool, if I'm honest. I started to feel more like me when I was channeling this happy-go-lucky spirited gal, and I saw my trans friends experiencing joy at realizing themselves, and I loved seeing that for them. And I'm kind of here like, I don't think I'd ever felt joy like that in my own self. So I started to identify the points at which I did feel that kind of joy, and well, where they came from and where I felt it. Oh, hey, hi, Editor K here, just with a quick heads up because I know how some people act with stories like this, and I'm nipping this one in the butt right now. D&D didn't make me trans non-binary. It came free with the, oh hey, you hadn't realized things, but this was a major step in helping you realize, but please do not accredit this kind of thing to a corporation who doesn't care about you. Especially if said company's parent corporation just signed a giant deal with a renowned TERF's IP. I know what he said, we aren't doing Hogwarts, we have Strixhaven. And Lord, I hope that remains the case with their properties, but still, you can't downplay Hasbro's overall involvement here. They do not care about you, but those who love you do. Be they those around your table with your game of choice, or maybe elsewhere. D&D or whatever your game of choice is didn't make you gay. It might have helped you see the door, but you got through yourself, babe. But maybe you got through with a little help from your friends, which, okay, that's actually a pretty good segue into this next section. Really good job here, Editor K. I think Toki might have come through on the mic. If he did, I'll put a little Toki on screen. I was about to say, slap ass, good job, but, well, Toki is a real sign of respect. Anyways, we get to Christmas of that year, and I get gorgeous art of Sept from SETTI as a Christmas gift, and it was very... oh.
What is he doing?
She's
Beginning to believe.
So here's where I actually get to give you a fun little lore tidbit as well. I wanted 1A, my VTube rig, to have little dagger motifs and the scar across her nose because Sept had those. She was clumsy. She sliced her own nose, learning how to juggle knives, but she practiced continuously. She wore a heart on her sleeve. She loves, and she stands by those she loves, and I wanted to be that. And on top of all those characteristics, I kind of learned that there's something more in there that I wanted to be too. Fast forward through more time and I see more characters that I love, and I kind of delve a little more into myself in terms of self-identity, and I realize it wasn't quite as easy as my brain would imagine it to be, but also it kind of was, while I still very much hold on to the term non-binary and refer to myself as a non-binary trans femme. It's, I love the fact that it hit my heart, and it very much was a egg crack moment in that I feel more this now more than I did. I'm word souping. I guess this probably was the time in which my egg cracked. I guess maybe that was the one, now that I'm actually saying it out loud. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
You call that a knife? This is a knife.
That's not a knife, that's a...
Cyander.
All right, you win. I see you've played knifey before.
Any advice for newer transitioning people? Not really, but also kinda. It's a difficult one because I'm newer transitioning people. I've been out and out non-binary since 2023 and fell down the slippery slope of gender waterslide since about late 2024 to really the start of 2025. Now comfortable calling myself a trans femme non-binary. I use she/they pronouns. Please do not forget the they, and please don't call me a gentle them or a themperor or anything like that. Just, my name, K or K. I don't mind. This is where I'm at currently, and this is very, very new to me still. I don't have much, if anything, in terms of practical advice, as I haven't started HRT or anything like that, primarily both due to the situation I'm in financially and also kind of otherwise, and also my frankly very, very fucking bad experiences with medical professionals in my area of the country have made me somewhat hesitant to ever visit the doctor in my area. As of this video, I have only socially transitioned. I would like to go further. In fact, I would absolutely fucking love to go further. But, hey, that is a scary step. And I know that. And there are many others who know that too. And also, it's not a step you need to take if you feel it's something that wouldn't help you, but also at the same time, you shouldn't let fear take the wheel. That's something I intend to take control of this year. I've gotten to where I am currently speaking with friends, experimenting with names, streaming with a VTube rig that feels like the approximation of where I'd love to be. Like, I was streaming with this version of 1A who is, non-binary but rather femme presenting. And as I mentioned a while back when I got this rig, she feels more like me for me. On top of this as well, I've been getting small bits and pieces of clothing that give me like good brain feel here and there when I can, and I'm just taking the time to explore myself in these ways. Social transitioning can feel like a small step, but you need to remember that it is a step. In terms of advice, it's important you know that transitioning looks different and is different to everyone. People out here want to help and they do it in their own ways, and in some cases it might be stuff that helps them but doesn't particularly help you. But that doesn't necessarily mean that what they're saying is bad. There's a famous piece of advice that floats around from Punkit, who I think is really, really fucking rad, which is, you won't end up looking like an anime girl, you'll probably end up looking like your mum. And like, that doesn't help me, but having that level of pragmatism can maybe help other people. Like, I have no real expectations. Some people may find this very, very fulfilling, other people maybe not. I just know that I intend to take the path. But I'm also very aware that if I was FTM and you'd said I'd end up looking like my dad, I would be way too scared to ever consider doing any of this. But that is simply due to my circumstances, and prominent trans people online do not necessarily know you. Punkit is literally just a woman who is a talented artist who speaks out a lot on being trans and standing up for people online. But at the end of the day, she is just her, with her experiences and her life. This is something that worked for her, and it might not work for you, but it is not an excuse for you to get weirdly agitated and very parasocial over it. It's very seldom that the advice these people are putting out there is wrong. It's just not your right. Also, Punkit just seems really lovely and I really like her art. I don't know her personally, but from what I can gather, she's got a good head on her shoulders. She seems super cool and I hope she's having a nice day. Oh, and Punkit, if you are watching this, hello! I hope you're having a nice day. Biggest thing that comes to mind for me though is, in my experience at least, this can all feel rather fluid. I keep calling gender the soup because, like a soup, there is so much identity and other things in this to me. I feel comfortable in calling myself a trans femme non-binary person because that's what fits right in my heart, but I've still got paths to go. Maybe you'll hit yours with certainty, maybe it will be nebulous. It's hard to tell. It's a real, there will be some change, some of it good, some of it bad. But change is guaranteed. It's literally in the term transition. But in amongst all of this, please, for the love of yourself, keep the real you alive long enough to become them. And I kind of feel like that's the only advice I have, really. Look, I'm sorry, this probably wasn't what you were looking for, and I fear my ass went maybe a little too sentimental. I just hope I didn't cross over into like fucking clueless youth pastor territory, but like I am, like I said, I'm new here and I am in a situation, and it's a situation that hilariously will basically explode if my family ever watch this. Yeah, it's a real, hey hi, it's your son. She's a she, or a they. But look, you've got this, and your friends have got you. I didn't expect this kind of question when I did this, but I would feel wrong if I didn't at least try. I really apologize. I really do feel like this entire section has been a mess, but I'm doing the best I can. So whilst I was filming this video, I actually also put the message out there for some potential quickfire questions for the end of the video, and we actually got some bites. So let's go. So from lovely Artie, by the way, I absolutely fucking adore Tiger Arizona. God, that the woman she is. The question is, do you have a favorite power-up in a video game? Yes, I do. It's Berserk from Doom. I absolutely love the Berserk pack because it makes me giggle so much, with it healing you all the way back up to 100, but also increasing your punching power to the power of 10. It's such a ludicrous premise to me. I also really like the way Doom 2016 handled it, in that you just rip shit apart. I think also playing Private Stone, once again she's talking about the big British lady, what a surprise. The way that they handle Berserk in that is incredibly interesting, in that there's sort of 2 levels to Berserking. You can either activate your British heritage powers, which means you're angry and punch real good, and then drink a Berserk to become even angrier, which is very funny to me. But yeah, Berserk, once again, we're going back to the physical weapon kind of thing. I think I have a penchant for punching. I just wish that these games had more kicking. I've got big leggies. They're made for drop kicks. And maybe a Frankensteiner, if you're nasty. We've got another one from Mitzi, who is lovely. You should all be checking out their art. Fave trope / little detail in the genre of cyberpunk. So I feel like this is one that gets a little overlooked, but I really like in Alien the use of semiotic standards on spaceships. I think that was really neat. And also, I feel like this is something that maybe got compounded on a little more in Alien Isolation, but the entire Japanese industries taking over in the West, like that entire fear of it. So it's like you have these big Western ships which have the entire like made by like Hayabusa technologies and stuff on the side of it. I really like small bits and pieces like that, but I think my big favorite trope is I really love tactile technology in cyberpunk stuff. Like there's a meme that went around on Tumblr a while ago, which is like, the tactile interface fandom is dying. Repost if you're a true knobhead. And buddy, I love fiddling knobs. Like genuinely, I kind of miss the fact that a lot of cyberpunk media nowadays doesn't look like that image of the MIT wearing tech wearables. Like that stuff is fucking rad. But if I see some fucking nerd in like the Meta glasses, I want to snap those glasses off their fucking face. Like they might be like, oh, that's the justifiable evolution. No, dumbass, I know precisely where you got them and you're scum. I apologize, that was probably a little rambly, but I hope you like my answer. Oh, one from Esper Quinn. Would love to hear any Adobe Premiere tricks you want to share, or whatever neat editing thing you enjoy being able to do. The amount of pressure on this, because Esper is a fucking shit hot editor. She does a lot of editing on podcasts, and she has been like a major inspiration in helping me get to grips with editing podcasts with the stuff that she works on. Like, I don't think if I hadn't seen the stuff that Esper has made, I wouldn't be able to make split screen as well as I do. So please check out Esper's work. She's fucking rad. In terms of like cool editing tricks I don't really have any. I'm kind of boring. I think it's because I've stuck with my process that I've been doing since about 2014, 2015, and sort of integrating stuff over time. I haven't really considered what I do as like neat editing tricks. It's more just kind of the way I work sometimes. But I guess if I'm to talk about something I'm like weirdly proud of, before I started working on like bigger narrative projects and also videos like I do for my channel, a lot of my freelance work was like top 10 lists and kind of for places like Logitech or Rebellion or Asus. Like I did a lot of list features like that, and I kind of had to do a lot of those with same day turnarounds. So I kind of figured out the easiest way for me to do that was to edit audio waveforms backwards, because you would normally find that the best take would be at the end of it, and you might find like small little nuggets of gold as you're going back through anyway. But if you really needed to get down for speed and knuckle down for it, edit it from right to left, not left to right. Like that was like my big one for me in terms of learning that kind of stuff. I guess that's like an editing trick. I've not really been able to utilize it in podcasts. I'm still learning. Like editing is very much a learning game. You will continuously be learning, and that's not just because Adobe have decided to turn editing in terms of Premiere into some slop subscription service in which you basically have to opt in for a beta service and pay a ridiculous amount of money per month for it. Which I guess brings me on to like my second sort of editing tip, which is, hey, if you want to get into editing, DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is completely free. You can download it, and there's a lot of tutorials out there. I highly recommend you watch tutorials. I got as good as I did at editing through watching tutorials and also being taught how to edit. So it has to be something you want to put the time into, because it is an art form. It is. I will not be hearing questions on that at any other time. editing is art, and it's a very cool art form. But yeah, if you want to get into it, I would say check out DaVinci Resolve. It's probably the best free editing software out there at the moment, and also just some of the best editing software in general. So if you feel like giving it a go, pick it up, download it, don the uniform if you're feeling fruity, and have fun. Honestly, my other primary editing tip I'm more than happy to give anybody is fuck around and find out. That's how I made the Renegade video and how I did Max Payne and stuff. So, like, that's my big tip. I'm a little scared trying to do this one because, like I said, if you're watching this, Esper, god fucking damn girl, you are powerful. Okay? You're so fucking powerful. Big love, big respect. Wah wah wah. But, yeah. That's the AMA, I guess. I have queued your race. No, I've 80 your queues. I promise I'm intelligent. But I have 80 your queues, and I've had a blast doing this. I think I would like to do something like this again, if people would be down for it. Yeah, we'll see. But I hope you enjoyed this video. We will be having more projects coming soon. I am working on the video for Heavy Metal Fact 2. I am hoping it'll be out in March. Hey bitch, I'm back. You thought, once again, this was like filmed before I was looking after Toki for the whole month, but you stop it right now. We're doing another project at the moment anyway. We'll explain in the credits, but also you stop making promises right now or you're getting a smack bottom, but like in, I was gonna say like in a bad way, but like, girl, you're a freak. I've done a lot of talking. I've done a lot of recording. I'm feeling kind of pooped. So I'm gonna treat myself to some lovely cheese and maybe a chocky. Maybe a hot chocky. Who knows? Maybe just a nice coffee. Look, it's 2026. I know people have resolutions and the like, but also at the same time, please look after yourself. Please don't break yourself over the back of resolutions. I'm just rambling. I'm fucking rambling now. Thank you for swoosing on by, babes. And hey, as always, I will catch you next transmission. Hey, hi, it's me, lovely Credits K. Just to give you an update on projects. Heavy Metal Fact 2 is happening. I've actually started work on it now, but it's turning into a really big project. So I have a side one for the meantime. It's still kind of big, but a lot more manageable. It's about Quake Brutalist Jam 3. The end of last year and the start of this one were not good times for me mentally in the game space, and well, Quake Brutalist Jam 3 has kind of reignited some hope in me. So I want to talk about it in a video. I'm not going to give you a date for it yet. It'll be done when it's done. Also, I feel awkward with this one. I don't like rattling the cup per se, but this year so far has been fucking dreadful for freelance work. So if you enjoy my projects and want to see them continue, I have a Ko-fi in my description. Anyways, that's it from me. Look after yourself, and I will catch you next transmission.